What's up, guys? I wanted to make a video for you, bringing you up to date on the FTX situation. And if you don't know what that is, and you've been kind of hearing about it, I'll tell you, one of the world's largest crypto exchanges has blown up. They're illiquid, insolvent, out of business, collapsed. And I'll tell you right now, because I am a silver channel, I'm going to first tell you why this is related to silver. First of all, the FTX was an exchange, and they were an exchange of cryptocurrency. But what you'll find is that there's a lot of similarities. It's actually a really strong analogy between the COMEX and the FTX. In the case of the COMEX, they're exchanging metals, and in the case of FTX, they're exchanging cryptocurrency. But there's a lot of the banking principles that are at work that are exactly the same. There's counterparty risk, there's debt and derivatives, there's leverage, there's fractional reserve lending. All these are playing a role in the collapse of the FTX. And of course, there was lots of illegality that's already been exposed. And so that's the first and most important part. But secondly, this is also very important, maybe just as important. There's so much leverage and money and counterparty risk. There's so much interconnectedness with crypto and our general global economy that this could be the big one. The economy is already very weak all around, and I think that we all know that, and we've just been kind of waiting for the catalyst. We thought maybe it would be Russia, or maybe we thought it would be inflation, but the structural weakness is already there. And so now with this for sure collapse of the FTX, and we'll get into this other part a little bit, but the owner and founder of the FTX, his name was Sam Bankman-Fried. They're calling him SBF. Also owned an investment group that we'll get into, an investment firm called Alameda, and Alameda's also gone under. It actually started at Alameda, but FTX was holding assets for many other businesses and exchanges. Not all of them crypto. It was mostly crypto related, but other things that were outside of crypto. And we had BlockFi, which is it's a big crypto lending institution. People use it to borrow money from. Mainstream. BlockFi is very mainstream. Also completely illiquid, accounts frozen, customers can't withdraw, bank balances reading zero. And so this is for sure already cascading out to the general economy. And it's a full-blown bank run because anyone that's holding assets that are in contact with FTX is losing them in real time, or there's a big panic of people trying to withdraw. So I hope you can see how that's completely related to gold and silver. And now what I want to do is I'm going to give you first a very general article about how this unfolded and what happened. And then I'm going to take you over to Twitter and Reddit, and I'm going to give you the latest news about it and just get you caught up. And so, you know, and here's also why you want to see this is the same themes repeating itself. This is very political. This is very having to do with our Western corrupt economy, and the same players that we're used to seeing are all involved in this. And so you're not going to want to miss this. So let's go over to a couple articles, and I'll take you to Twitter and we'll get you caught up. First, we have an article from CNBC, and they write, Sam Bankman-Fried's Alameda quietly used FTX customer funds without raising alarm bells, say sources. Alameda Research, a trading firm founded by Sam Bankman-Fried, we'll call him SBF, was trading billions of dollars from FTX accounts and leveraging the exchange's native token as collateral, according to a source. Many people and outside auditors were unaware that FTX did not have enough money to match customer withdrawals, the source says. 3 sources familiar with the company told CNBC that they were blindsided by FTX's missteps and that only a small cohort knew about the potential misuse of customer deposits. They were using their customers' money to gamble with. They were gambling with other people's fucking money, and there wasn't enough other people's money to cover the losses when they made some bad trades, or they got a little too illiquid. There was too many withdrawals at the same time that they were owing money on bad trades. And we know that there's general tightness in the crypto community in the sense of prices going down, transactions going down, crypto not doing as well as with the broad economy. The quant trading firm Sam Bankman-Fried's founded was able to quietly use customer funds from the exchange FTX in a way that flew under the radar of investors, employees, and auditors in the process. So nobody knew. The way they did it was by using billions from FTX users without their knowledge. Alameda Research, the fund started by Bankman-Fried, borrowed billions in customer funds from the founders' exchange, FTX, according to a source familiar with the company's operations who asked not to be named. What I also want to point out about this is that this is unprecedented. I've seen data suggesting that FTX total liabilities are $50 billion. And we can compare that to Enron, who had total liabilities of $23 billion. This is much bigger than Enron, at least in dollar terms. And what's happening, the reason this is unprecedented, is the speed and the size of the internet. We are getting information on this in real time, and it's causing a panic. People are trying to withdraw all their money from anything that's touching FTX. And so, yes, we are on the cusp of something big. And here we have it. A margin position took a huge hit, and making some of the first leverage trade, the quant fund was using cryptocurrency created by the exchange. They were using their own currency as collateral. Well, what could go wrong with a currency that's completely made up? In a lending agreement, the collateral is typically the borrower's pledge to secure payment. It's often dollars or sometimes or something else of value like real estate. But in this case, a source said Alameda was borrowing from FTX and using the exchange's in-house cryptocurrency, the FTT token, to back those loans. They were making loans with something created out of thin air. And then the price of the FTT token nosedived 75% in one day, making the collateral insufficient to cover the trade. Please tell me how you can see this is 100% related to crypto. Please tell me. Related to silver, 100%. Please tell me you can see how this is completely 100% related to silver and the COMEX and the LBMA and the whole Western banking apparatus, correct? So let's go over to Twitter and get caught up to the latest here. I got some good stuff to show you. Here we have a tweet from someone that I see is really credible here. Magic Poop Cannon is a funny name, but also very credible. He writes, Crypto.com is looking pretty nasty here as rumors began to spread regarding its potential collapse in the wake of FTX's collapse. And what do we have here? We have Crypto.com coin nosediving. We know for sure that Crypto.com had a lot of counterparty risk in FTX. What the nature of that is, I don't know. I think they may have been holding their tokens is the problem. Here's another really credible crypto. This is Bitfinex, and Bitfinex has been calling out the fraud in crypto, calling out the dark pools of money, calling out the bad actors, calling out the fractional reserve lending, the unnecessary risk that the exchanges are taking, the fake coins that are just made from. Bitfinex has been calling this out for a long time, and particularly with Tether. But this is one of those really smart accounts that we don't know, at least I don't know who's behind it. I don't think anyone does. And they've been saying collapse is coming for this is a credible account. This is a credible account, okay? And Bitfinex is saying Crypto.com has less than a week. Good luck, boys and girls. Here's another really popular crypto account on Twitter. This is Crypto Calio. He writes, all this still blows my mind. Man, the biggest rug pull in history, and I was completely blind to it. Still hasn't set in. And here we have some speculation from the Gateway Pundit writing, exclusive tens of billions of US dollars are transferred to Ukraine, and then using FTX cryptocurrency, the funds were laundered back into the US for Democrats. I'm shocked. How could this be? That is I want to see the sources on that. And here, we have a really, I'm not going to read this whole thread, but I think we need to talk about the main point of this thread. This is from Marshall Hayner. He writes, let's talk for a moment about proof of reserve, because now that's the big thing. We have a lot of crypto companies stepping forward and showing their reserves because they're very concerned about a bank run, and the bank run's well underway. But here we have Marshall Hayner making a very important point. We just don't need the reserves. We need the liabilities. He writes, let's talk for a moment about proof of reserves. I think it's common and deceptive of the crypto industry to only show proof of reserves without showing proof of liabilities. Without knowing how much is owed to the depositors, you only have half of the equation. Let's say an exchange publishes addresses showing reserves of 100 million. Everything seems great. It comes out next that the exchange actually owes 1 billion. Well, then the bank run begins. What you want is all exchange activity on-chain, whereby wrapped or bridge tokens can act as proof of liabilities that can be actively and in real time audited with proof of reserves. In this way, if 1 billion is shown on the block explorer of a circulating bridge token, it acts as a proof of liability. Compare this to the proof of reserve and voila, an actual solution to the solvency attestation conundrum. It's not good enough to tell us what you have. You also got to tell us what you owe. Here we have a tweet from Mr. Well, another famous crypto account. He says, I'm saying it again. Keep your crypto away from crypto.com and Gate.io. Here's a short list of, this is the investors in FTX. We have SoftBank, BlackRock, Ontario Teachers Pension. Oh, yikes. Sequoia Capital, Tiger Global, Lightspeed, Coinbase, Binance, Paul Tudor Jones. Those are mainstream names there. Oh, this is a good one. This is coming off Wall Street Bets. Sam Bankman-Fried's fraudulent FTX got a higher ESG score on leadership and governance than ExxonMobil. Do you know what ESG is? Do you know what ESG is? ESG stands for environmental and social governance. And this is the whole, I guess we'll call it a rule book that the whole George Soros, Klaus Schwab, EU wants to put us under. It's kind of one of those special neo rule books that changes over time, and there's a lot of subjectivity involved about how you're impacting the environment, how you're being socially equitable, and we make the rules for it, and the rules can change. And not only do they want to give us a social credit score, they want to give the businesses a social credit score. That's almost even better, right? It's just as good, if not better. And there you have it. FTX got a higher score than ExxonMobil. I guess that tells us a lot about how good of a system this ESG score really is. Good riddance. Mario Nafal, FTX insider live on stage. Rehypothecation of funds started in mid-2021. Proof of reserves did not exist and hidden with FTX tokens rather than one-to-one. Exactly what we see on the metals exchanges. I mean, all banks in general. But here's one important distinction. Here's a really important distinction right here. These crypto exchanges and the bigger cryptocurrencies, they do not have taxpayers to bail them out, at least not yet, right? Given the size of these institutions, if they were under the jurisdiction of a nation, perhaps they would use tax money to bail them out. We would be expecting to make sure and pay to keep them in business. After all, we can't, well, we haven't got to that yet. This is coming up next. Here we have Benny Johnson writes, FTX was a money laundering scam for Democrats. 50 million spent on electing Dems this cycle. Will a single Democrat return the blood money given to their campaigns? Ooh. Here we have a tweet from Zero Hedge. They write, Dear Davos Elite and World Economic Forum, it appears you accidentally deleted your FTX partner website. Lucky for you, we found it on the Internet Archive. And there you go. You had the World Economic Forum trying to hide evidence of their relationship, their sponsorship of FTX. Well, how about that? And I do want to read this one real quickly because this is from AU Bullion. He wrote, the first, the FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried tells users the FTX is 100% liquid, and less than 24 hours later, they suspend withdrawals, further proving physical assets in your own possession is the best way to preserve your wealth. And here we are thinking the COMEX can't be beat, right? Like they're going to tell us when we're getting close. And I got one more thing to show you. This is just the icing on the cake right here. Wait till you see this. And here you have it. Here's the kicker. I should have led this video with this. So we, on the top right corner here, let me get my highlighter on. We have Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, and that is the Securities Exchange Commission. So he's looking at regulation of financial institutions. There's Gary Gensler. He's a former professor at MIT. And here you have Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX, who is an MIT graduate. And here, this little Harry Potter girl here, her name's Carolyn Ellison, and she's married to SBF. They're married. And she's also the CEO of Alameda, but she's the daughter of a man named Glenn Ellison, who is the professor of economics at MIT and the former boss of Gary Gensler. How you like that one? I do believe the only right thing Gary Gensler can do in this situation is to recuse himself, probably to just step down altogether. I have a good memory of General Flynn having to recuse himself and step down, correct? And also, you remember Jeff Sessions? Just at the whiff of conflict of interest, those two guys had to step down and go away. There was many more too. But just remember, during the Trump era, just the mere accusation of a conflict of interest, the mere suspicion, not even solid accusation. And you had to step aside so the people with the pitchforks can step in and do their work, correct? And so there you have it. I did do my best here just to bring you up to date a little bit. Is that exciting? That's exciting. I believe that the bank run is on. We're going to see it unfold in the next few days over here. And certainly next, it does appear that the next exchange in the crosshairs is going to be crypto.com. And I've already seen many shady accusations. They're just accusations right now. Speculations as to the insolvency that they are encountering at crypto.com, also holding really questionable forms of assets, we'll say. And also where this leads to next, we don't know, but people have been long suspicious of Tether. So Tether could very well be next after crypto. I don't know where it goes from here, but as the IMF warned, cascading contagion, a series of cascading shocks throughout the we were already weak. And here we are. So I do hope that I got you caught up a little bit there if you have no idea what any of this was about. And I'll have another video for you very soon. I hope you enjoyed this. You have a good night.